Hi everyone and welcome back. I'm just coming on today to make an impromptu video about the current status of all planets direct that we are in, as well as some of the other subtle energy dynamics that are happening. I thought that you guys might like a little bit of an update here. As we are moving into our second month here of all planets direct, we have about a 3-month long window. I was not able to make a video prior to all planets direct, but I did want to at least give you guys a little bit of heads up and guidance about where we're standing and how I'm feeling this very uncharacteristically long all planets direct. Okay, for those of you who are newer to astrology, all planets direct means that there are currently no retrogrades in the sky. All of the planets are moving in a direct motion, and this happens at least usually once a year, but it's usually happening for a shorter period of time as all of the outer planets go retrograde once per year, and Mercury goes retrograde 3 times per year. So it's rare when you have a period of time that all of the planets are not moving retrograde. So we had a long retrograde cycle in 2021. Most of the year we spent in retrogrades. We had a brief all planets direct period, I believe it was in like February of 2021. And then we moved throughout the entire rest of the year, I believe like late March or early April, all the way through like January of 2022 with retrograde movement. So yes, we've already gone through all of February and a bit of March with all planets direct. And we're kind of approaching the halfway point of this APDM cycle. And it's been a tough one for a lot of people. I feel that there was basically an adherence to the previous retrogrades. There was kind of like a muscle memory formed around the way that we were thinking or what we felt that we had to do to get by over the year of 2021. And because of this, I see a lot of people facing inconvenience and headache during this all planets direct, as basically a lot of the structures that they built are being called into question, and a lot of the things that they took for granted are also being positioned differently. So there's during this time and up until about the end of April, okay, when we finally have retrogrades again, there is a definite change in what we've taken for granted, and there's also a need to transcend previous tendencies towards procrastination, towards addiction, and towards coping, okay? The transits that are taking place during this all planets direct are contradictory. All right, we have a T-square forming again between the nodes and Saturn, and this will be exact on April 11th. I will probably make a specific video about it. But T-square is kind of like a retrograde energy, even though it's not happening with retrogrades. Basically, it represents usually a value crisis or some type of a tug of war being pulled in 2 directions at once or 3 directions, and it can kind of stretch us out or even lead us to feel overwhelmed or overbeared in some way, and that's going to be happening during this time. And I think that most of us, being that we are having these new T-square energies come up, we are having Jupiter moving towards Neptune as well. It's such a expansive time, right? It's such a time of new horizons being introduced, new goals being perceived, and new opportunities being placed right in front of us. But what's difficult is that, again, we've kind of formed this muscle memory around needing the previous predictable security-oriented situation to be the dominant force. And so it's like we almost feel like we have to turn against ourselves, or we have to turn inward or dismantle some of these previous securities in order to advance. Okay, and I feel that this is a major crux that most of us are experiencing here in March of 2022 is like, do I dismantle what has previously worked? Do I prune off some of the overgrowth with the trust that that will increase my growth capacity, or with the trust that once I cut something away, will I be able to grow further? And that is how we're being tested, I feel, during this time. And building up to this T-square with North Node in Taurus, South Node in Scorpio, and Saturn in Aquarius happening in April. This is going to be, for a lot of people, a question of destiny, a question of what do you want to do for a long time, a question of what makes sense for you based on, your past lives, and then how can you, in a structured, real way, start to fortify and create connecting to your purpose, calling, or destiny. And there could be conflicts here, and I just want to prepare you all for that. That's one of the reasons I wanted to come on today, is it's like March 12th as I'm filming this. So we have about a month of this applying T-square, and then by April 11th, it's going to be exact. And we're going to have Saturn retrograding, okay, later this year. It's going to stay in the last decan of Aquarius for the rest of the year, okay? And I just want to prepare you guys for that. I'll, of course, make a video about Saturn retrograde. But if you have any placements in late Aquarius or late fixed signs in general, we're definitely in for a questioning or just a kind of really a question of how hard are you willing to work for it? Like, how much are you willing to sacrifice or, even rebuild in order to get where you want to go? And also, are you... Because Aquarius is a sign about many people coming together. It's about groups, collectives, and, networks, okay? Like the nervous system, I always think of with Aquarius, like a network of nerves all coming together to create a larger sensation or a larger general experience. So we have a question of, how do I fit into that network? How do I become a member or a part of a larger moving structure or machine, and what machine do I want to be a part of? So I just want to tell you guys that during this all planets direct, it's very likely, okay, to be considering a new career for yourself, or to be considering a new group identity. Identity crisis is very prevalent, has been ever since 2020, but even more so in 2022. Because we have these Saturn retrogrades that will be happening in the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign of identity, and specifically how your identity impacts your acceptance or lack thereof into a different group or into a network of people. It's not so much the self-perception of the identity, it's more of like how others perceive you and what they then feel that you're warranted to do, or how the group basically supports you in a certain process, or how other institutions view you or work with you. So with the nodes creating a T-square to this, building to that over this all planets direct period, we have a conflict of institution, a conflict of identity, and it is kind of like the energy of war to me. Okay, T-square between the nodes and Saturn. It's like a change of regime. It's like a change of what we thought was forever, what we thought was non-changing, non-moving, what we thought was a static construct could be completely switched or transferred during this time. So I feel that there are transfers happening. I feel that a lot of people are transferring their wealth. I feel that a lot of people are turning one version of wealth into another, like with this Saturn T-square. So just a lot of information already coming through. I guess that we needed to talk about it early, so you guys are prepared. I see basically, because again, North Node in Taurus is about what we think about status quo. It's about how we build wealth. It's about where we hoard wealth as well. And with a Saturn coming to the T-square point in Aquarius squaring this North Node, it says that there's a challenge or even a dispute about where wealth is stored, and this can happen at the macro or the micro level. So I'm seeing for some people who have, for example, been like business owners, maybe getting out of their industries and not trusting that the industry won't like take from them. I'm also seeing investors like really switching up their portfolios, or even cashing them out, or changing from one asset to another. Definitely challenges with cryptocurrency with this coming up. It could be regulated in a new way. It could be a very big threat to some of these other institutions. So I can't really advise anybody at all on what you should do. Like, I'm not saying that you need to like change your wealth to like crypto, or you need to change your crypto to another thing. Like, I would never advise on that. I'm just saying every single status quo institution, and I consider crypto to be a status quo institution to some degree at this time, it's all going to be challenged, and it's all going to be, there's just a car alarm going off outside. So there's going to be maybe an alarming situation relating to that stuff. And to me, it is indicating also that we don't trust maybe the actions that we've taken. Okay, we don't trust the status quo that we've built in our own lives. And because of that, we're alarmed, and we want to somehow trick ourselves into believing we have a certain control. So T-square with the Saturn and the nodes, trying to do whatever you can to prove yourself that you have control over a situation. It's a major control crisis, especially with South Node in Scorpio, square Saturn. And Mars is also going to be moving to Saturn as well. So Mars will activate this T-square and guide Saturn through it. So it could be very malefic. And I also think that you guys want to stay really safe with like what you're doing with your money. Okay, so identity insurance could be good. Make sure you're not like sharing your, your credit card with other people. Make sure, I feel like there could be like crazy schemes or some type of like really big, also, revealing of some type of major problem that's been happening in the financial sector. So keep prepared for that. I would definitely stay diversified, and I would not also invest everything into one thing. Okay. We need a more decentralized approach, perhaps, to just our own decision making. And this isn't just money. Okay. This is like, this is how I spend my time. Okay, this is me thinking like I'm going to have one business, like I'm going to have one company, and that's all that I'll ever do. Whether I'm working for that company, whether I own that company, whether I invest in that company, whatever it is, however your relationship to the institution is, we have to get off of these one unitary, dogmatic approaches to growing and expanding in life. We need options and variety. Okay, because also, I just want to say, in this all planets direct, a lot of us expected to make more progress, or expected to feel as if everything was fixed, or as if we checked off every box. And I don't think it's going to happen with this T-square. So we also need to prepare ourselves to be okay with the fact that we have basically done what we've done. Okay, you might be surprised about how much you've actually accomplished over these 3 months, and you might kind of also be like, gosh, what was that worth, and what are the things that I've been doing contributing to my larger, or to my longevity, because we're very longevity focused here, right? It basically feels to me like extremely insatiable, like we're just not happy with like the progress, or we can't believe that we're allowing certain people in our lives also to be so careless. Okay, there's a carelessness I feel in this all planets direct, and also a lack of quality effort for a lot of people, or quality contribution. There's a quality crisis with the Jupiter, Neptune, and Pisces. There could even be like crisis of food production, or crisis of like the wrong ingredients being used, or something like that. I just feel that there's a lot of carelessness, and there's a lot of negligence. Okay, negligence is a good word. And hopefully we will move through that. And I also think that this Saturn in Aquarius retrogrades that's going to be happening for the rest of the year will solve or resolve a lot of that, maybe. But basically what I'm feeling, if you want to have good progress and positive progress, healthy advancement in your life, as is always indicated as a possibility during any all planets direct period of time, I think that it really deals on forming a new relationship with your own power, okay, with your own ability to choose certain experiences, or your own ability to execute certain actions, or to choose, like, or appoint certain people as roles in your life. I'm feeling that there's a very appointing energy with this T-square too. Like, who did I choose? To like be a business partner. Who did I choose to give me professional advice? Who did I choose as a doctor? Who did I choose? Who did I choose? And also, how have I been chosen by other people? There's a lot there with this T-square in Scorpio, Aquarius, and Taurus. Okay. Basically, the appointment, or the choices are very, not necessarily scrutinized. I don't really feel that people are like having to, stand up and be liable for like every choice they've ever made. It's not so inquisitional like that. But what it is it's just an internal feeling. It's like because again, South Node in Scorpio, square Saturn, it's like an internal question, like, oh my God, is like the person that I've like chosen completely like incapable or careless, or and what does that say about my decision making, and how is that going to impact my life? We basically see very long-term implications for who and what we've chosen. Okay, so again, if you want to level up during this time, maybe we need a more rigid choosing or appointing process, and maybe we need to kind of also be willing to replace things, or be willing to, there is to me the feeling of replacement with Saturn square South Node in Scorpio and North Node in Taurus. There's a feeling of maybe reappointment or being replaced as well. So I do want to say, like, if you're really struggling in your job right now, or if you're also being very lazy or careless, which is probably everyone to some degree, it could be very easy to be replaced during this time. Like I'm seeing especially people who are in like authority positions getting really, really like tired of it, and also starting to lash out, or starting to be very much less sensitive to hurting people's feelings who are like being really negligent or careless. So I do feel that there is not so much a worry of a major repercussion for anybody, but just probably a replacement or some type of, I don't know, just exiting a certain situation that you don't like, and another person coming into that place, or another person fulfilling that. It's basically like what you care about, what you want to do well, like what you want to contribute to. That's really got to be ace stuff right now, guys. Like we can't just fog the mirror. We can't just like do stuff halfway if we care about it. If we care about it, if we want to still do it. Because I think the quality crisis is going to have to be solved, and I think a lot of people are going to get impetus to start creating quality, so there could be more competition as well. I'm feeling it to be competitive to this T-square that we're facing in April. And for a lot of people, it's at the level of self. It depends on where it's transiting in your chart. But I might also see like competition for positions, or competition for being in any type of authority over anything. Okay. So we want to make sure that our references are good. It's good to have a good resume during this time. It's good to maybe work on that and refocus that. Or it kind of depends on what side of, I suppose, the economy that you're on as well. I could also see some people getting out of that, or going their own way, or becoming self-employed as well. So it just depends on what's right for you. Also, it's nice to know that the first planet going retrograde after all planets direct is Pluto. Okay, so we're having a Pluto return in the United States, right? I made a video about that. I'll link it below and in the top right-hand corner for you all if you haven't seen that. But we are going to go directly from this kind of like flighty and for some people kind of mercurial and testing phase of all planets direct to a sudden Pluto retrograde. Okay. And Pluto retrograde is about understanding the previous transformation. It's about understanding the changes that we've made. It's about having to face choices that led to a big transformation in our past. So it might be really important to think very carefully about the changes that we're choosing to implement during this time, or about the way that we've disempowered ourselves before. We might need to spend some time in reflection there. And also, I want to bring one more thing up for you guys. I'm talking about this in the Year of the Tiger video a lot. We're in Year of the Tiger, and we're in all planets direct in Year of the Tiger. If you're very passive and you let people walk all over you during this time, that also seems to be very damning for some people. Some people are being tested just in their ability to like question, like just in their ability to call someone out in their negligence. Okay, and this can be harsh, and like I have to be careful when I'm talking here. This isn't about like being crazy. This isn't about like, you know, not getting what you wanted at the restaurant and like asking to talk to the manager. It's not like that. It's not like that at all. I'm really talking about like if someone has truly like walked on you, or if someone has truly like has done something that affects like your material standing in life, like almost things that are so like almost have a violation of your like humanity in some way, as we have this Pluto retrograde happening and a Pluto return at the same time. That I feel is the stuff that we can't just allow other people to do. So we have to be willing to ask questions, I think, during this time. We have to be willing to get multiple opinions, perhaps, especially if you have any kind of authority. And this isn't about like revenge. This isn't about like getting back at somebody, or about making somebody who's been like negligent or careless feel bad. What this is actually about here is about you having a better life, and it's about you having reliable people and, people that you trust. Okay. It's, and I have to make this distinction very, very clearly, because I think some people might be hearing this as like, yeah, I'm going to finally tell that person that treated me poorly how I felt, and they're going to know who I am, and they're going to answer for their like carelessness. It's not like that. This is not an inquisition, okay? Here's the problem with the Pluto return. It's kind of like an inquisition, okay? And we have a lot of egotistical people who basically want to like rub other people's faces in, you know what? That is not the key here. What is the key is turning away from these crazy egotistical lashing outs and generating something in your life that's meaningful and precise. Okay, not careless and negligent, but meaningful and precise. And the only time that I feel you're maybe having to ask people questions is like, are they generating a careless situation for you? And are you impacted in that? Is that your name? Is that who you are? That's the stuff that we have to kind of pay attention to here. And we should really be seeing by the end of April, okay, a certain progression or a certain leveling up out of these previous fears. And I want you guys also to pay very close attention, like how much of your time is going to being upset about the past or going towards something that another person did to you before. That should also be something that we see that we're having a nice evolution in regards to during this All Planets Direct, because when Pluto goes retrograde, okay, at the end of April, that would be very hard if we spent the time prior, upset about the past or upset about what someone did to us, trying to understand how we're going to overcome something. It should just be kind of a natural movement forward during this time. And if you've done it really well, okay, in All Planets Direct, you should almost start to feel as if like none of that stuff touches you anymore. So these deep wounds of the past, these people who were, problematic for you before, these old traumas, okay, I'm talking years and years and years ago, these things should almost start to feel like a history or something that happened a long time ago. It shouldn't really be feeling so current anymore if it happened a long time ago now. And I'll conclude on this notion. Okay, so we are about to be in Aries season, equinox. We are in Year of the Tiger, and we're in All Planets Direct. All right, we've just had a nodal shift as well. You have all of the authority or permission to kind of move towards what is right for you, like at a soul level. You have all of the authority to pioneer a little bit, and you have all of the ability to do the meaningful stuff now instead of just covering your bases. That feels very important during this time, and it feels like a time like no other for it. Though I do understand that with this T-square and also having Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces, there's also a feeling of like, I just can't risk it, or I just can't say goodbye to everything at the same time. So the result could be overwhelm. It could be feeling overloaded. It could also be putting too much onto your plate in an attempt to like keep everything and not say goodbye to anything. But if you can, embrace a new, healthier, more methodical, more quick action plan for any goals, for any projects, for any follow-through that you have to be connected to during this time. And you will just see a natural progression, a natural leveling up. And by the end of this year, it could be like totally there for you. But yes, procrastination or inability to methodically work on things and trying to sprint, trying to procrastinate, or trying to, put stuff off to the last second could be devastating. So I just want you guys to know this All Planets Direct also really cut a lot of addictions, and it cut a lot of procrastination orientation. And that is good to know, because I want to say after this All Planets Direct, once Pluto goes retrograde, if we're still in procrastination or addiction, and there haven't been at least some strides forward there, we could be at a loss in some way. So you still have like a full month and a half as this video is coming out to really make progress there. And I think that that's another great reason to have this video at this time, because you really want to not procrastinate during this time. I've got to tell you, procrastination during Year of the Tiger is the biggest threat. And we want to solve that now. So anyway, I just wanted to make a quick update stream of consciousness for you all about where we're at with All Planets Direct. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel and turn on the bell notifications. I'm also doing weekly tea chats on Patreon where I talk about the week ahead and other, intuitive messages that I get, and those are only available over there. So I will link below the link to Patreon if you've been considering it. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful time to sign up. All Planets Direct. Why not check out some of Sky's premium content? And there's also a join button here on YouTube if you prefer to support that way. I try to give you guys a lot of options. And certainly just subscribing, liking, and commenting is a great free way to support this channel as well. Thank you all so much and have a wonderful All Planets Direct. Much love. Bye.